You may remember last week I did this sky painting, just a quick painting for the sky, and this week I wanted to include this bridge. My first tip is to get those rounded areas. You want to use your wrist to get the sort of almost perfect circular shape. And what you want to do is use your wrist and the pencil, the length of the pencil, just to give you that more accurate, I should say, of the shape. And I want to thank Annie for suggesting this. After last week, I asked if there was any suggestions for painting for this one, and Annie asked if I could do a bridge and some rocks, maybe a hut. And so I really do appreciate that comment. And when you speak, I do listen. So I do appreciate all those comments. Any suggestions, anything like that you may want to see me paint. Sometimes it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it's something that I haven't painted too many of, bridges. And so for this one, I'm just starting out with a bit of pencil to get the plan of the composition down, and then I'll be using some pen as well as my watercolor washes. Now I know that it's just over 27-minute video, but if you stay to watch as much as you can, I really do appreciate that. I've got packed in lots of tips and different techniques, and I'm quite excited about this one. It's something a little bit different. I'm trying something quite new, and you'll see as the painting progresses. With the White Nights paints that I'm using at the moment for this one, it doesn't have a sap green. I'm not sure what green it is, but you can see that tree and some of the greens I've put in. It could be a hooker's green, I'm not sure. But I do tend to gravitate towards a sap green. But in order to make that a bit more realistic, you can add yellow. One of my personal favourites is yellow ochre. It's just a really nice sort of golden yellow colour. It's not too bright, not too much on the yellow side, if that makes sense. And then for the rocks, I'm just added in some Payne's Grey, just a bit of mud from my palette. And you can see for the first couple of stages, what I want to do is use a lot of wet in wet, just to get those colours mixing and blending together and bleeding. I really like that in my paintings. And here's my palette. Quite messy, but I'd love to know if you clean yours. I know it's quite a funny subject when it comes to watercolour painting. I've seen some palettes that are worse than mine. It looks like they've something been in a fire and sort of pulled out. But I don't really tend to clean out my palettes very much. Even my brushes, sometimes I come to a painting and discover there's still pigment in there. But yeah, that's just the way I paint. So I'm using a light mix of yellow ochre now as a base for this bridge, and you'll see how I go about painting this bridge. I want it quite different. So you'll see I've got an interesting way in which you can do that bridge. And normally I wouldn't paint every single individual brick. That's not my style, but I've seen people paint in buildings and any sort of structures. I've seen paintings that look really nice and with every single brick painted. And I'm just going to mix up this is the mud that I'm talking about on my palette. So it's just leftover paint that's there, and from previous paintings. I just use that, and I can add whatever colour I want to that, and I'm just dropping in a few little random spots here and there. And if you're liking this video so far, please do give us a like, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, then please do consider subscribing. I do have lots of tips and tricks for beginners and more advanced as well. I suppose you're never too old to learn new tricks, or if you've been painting for a while, if you're more advanced, there's always different techniques and different ways of doing things. I'm not one to say this is right, do this, and this is wrong. Just paint as you feel. And it's funny because each subject that I paint, I think about it, and I have a different approach, I think, to each painting, and that may reflect in the style of this one. Like I said, I don't usually draw every single brick, but I wanted to go in with a bit of pen. So this is a micron pen now, a fineliner pen, just to get the outline of bricks, and I'm just putting them in randomly, so there's no rhyme or reason to it, and it just gives a nice overall impression. And you can see with the different colours that I popped into the bridge, those sort of stand out and give it a nice effect. And that's what I'm after. I just think in each painting, if you find an area that you want to make look interesting, that can carry the painting. It can just improve the way it looks, and it doesn't matter what else you do. If you've got that one part of the painting that you like and that you made interesting, then that can really make a difference. So one of the things I wanted to try is if you just pop the colours down, you can see just letting those colours blend into each other. It is dried a bit now, and I'm just going in with a pen just to pull out some of those rocks. And it's nice to add the watercolour and then not even go around the colours exact, just draw over them, and it gives a nice loose feel, and you can have detail in there, or just like I'm doing here, I'm keeping it quite simple. The longest time that I spent on this painting was actually doing the bridge, you know, just the outline of the bricks. And so that I was up till quite late last night doing this, but the rest is quite straightforward, I suppose. And I'm also after that vignette sort of look, so the painting doesn't come to the edges of the paint, to the paper at the bottom. So I want that nice sort of feel to it. It does add a bit of interest. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And just wanted to add this cottage, house or cottage, whatever it may be, just hiding behind the trees, just on the side of the bridge. Something I want to show you is something quite different, quite unique. You can get your colours and sort of put them down and then draw with ink on top, so you get these nice effects. Let me just show you that. And don't be afraid of leaving white parts. It adds something different to the scene. You can see things are coming along now, things are popping. So yeah, it's a different way of painting. Sometimes you've got to think outside the box and just do something completely different. This is not the style I usually do, but when I start a painting, I do look at the painting. I like to think of what can I do to make more of an interesting scene. And you can see the bridge. Obviously I started with the pen and then just popping in. I wouldn't normally do individual bricks on a bridge, but I just thought I'd do something a little bit different, and you can see the different colours that I popped in. Really does add a really quite nice effect to the scene. And so I am using quite a lot of pen in this watercolour painting. I want that effect, so it is quite different to my normal landscape painting. So don't be afraid to try new things. I'm even using a bit more colour in this one, just to get that quite a vibrant, nice looking painting. So even a pop of yellow, any yellow will do. This is probably a cad yellow. It's not a colour that I do use often on its own anyway. And so that's another thing that I'm trying as well, just to mix it up a little bit and make it interesting for myself to paint. And so I'm hoping that it pays off and it is something a little bit different. I've got a little bit of alizarin crimson there as well. Oh no, sorry, I think it's a cad red. So I'm going to go in with a bit of a darker tone and just bring that down a little bit, but I do like the pop of colour as well. If you don't like painting, or if you struggle painting buildings, then you could always plant some trees in front and hide the majority of the building. A bit of a cheat there, but it does work if it's landscape painting. There's always trees around somewhere, and you can just put them in front and just have a little bit of the building peeking through. It does work in your painting. A little bit of dry brush does help with texture, so foliage, that sort of thing in the trees. It does give a nice broken effect, so using the paper for the texture. And this is a £140 rough paper, which I'm running low on, so I do need to buy some more. At some point I'll have to go and get some. If I don't order it online, I'll have to go to Manchester and get some. So just a simple mix of yellow and a bit of green, just to get that nice lighter green for the trees. So I think I'm gonna add the river to the scene, so I'm gonna bring it like so. Quite a wide river. It's quite a wide river, so I'm gonna bring it all the way through. So I want to bank in, which I'm going to use a little bit of brown, a bit of grey, just some of the colours that I've got in the palette. Some of you would call it mud because they're dirted and mixed with plenty of different colours. Maybe a bit of green. So I'm not even washing my brush out now. I'm just going in with what I've already mixed. I am a fan of doing that. I don't clean my palette out. So let me know if you clean your palette out, but that's not something that I do. And just a bit of banking coming down. Gotta put it so under the rocks, otherwise they'll be looking a bit strange. It's okay on this side, but yeah. So sometimes you're going to think, what sort of river you want. Do you want it quite a wild river coming down, plenty of water, or do you want a gentle water, a gentle river? I think I'm opting for a gentle one this time. You've seen the last painting I did with a stream in the scene. I want a lot of movement in that one, but because of this one I've got the bridge, I've got quite a lot of detail. I want something quite calm. I don't want too many details for the river, so let the bridge be the detail in this painting, and I think it'll pay off. So I want a distant, I'm going to just add a little bit more water, and then let's get a bit of a distant land that you can see. So not too much detail, I'm going quite far back in the distance, and maybe I'll find my liner brush. I'm going to add a few trees, and I've lost my liner brush. That's where it is, that's where my pencil was as well. Couldn't find the right pencil. So just a few distant trees right back, or just some trunks. Just a few little details really, nothing too detailed because I want the bridge to stand out. And this does remind me of when I was a kid. I remember having, and I think I've told this story before, I remember having a competition at school. We had a flyer for the art fair, and there was a bridge with children on it, and it had the name of the school, and we had to colour it in, and there was prizes for the best one, and they had 3 prizes, and that was the first time I ever won anything. It was quite something. For once I was must have been 12 or 13, I'm not sure, but to win something, it was quite an achievement. I was really proud. And what I did was, the bridge was sort of similar to this, and I used pencils, I think. Can't remember, it was a long time ago. But I used these pencils, and what I did was I mixed the pencils. So instead of going for one colour, I layered them, which I never tried before, and I don't know where it came from. I just had this thought, idea, and I won first prize. I won £10. £10 for my design. I was called out in assembly and had to collect my little envelope, and inside was £10. So that was first time ever I won anything, and I think that's, I guess, where my love for art started. It was quite a nice experience. So yeah, just adding some light tones to the banking, and I will go in with some pale mix for the water. Like I said, I don't want anything too detailed because I've got quite a lot of detail in this one. I just want the bridge to be the focal point, and then you got the house just off the bridge, which looks quite nice. And yeah. So I'm also going for this vignette sort of look. I like it when the watercolor sort of finishes, and you just got this, just the way the paint sort of finishes before the paper. And I think that looks quite nice. That can add a bit of character to your scene as well. And just want to go for that. So it is quite different. And just gonna add some water now. So I'm gonna use plenty. So this is quite a light mix. I want a few different colours. So you've got whatever sky colour you've got, you want to reflect some of that in the painting. So once that's dry, I will add some different colours, leaving also just a few little bits of white just to indicate a bit of reflection, a bit of sparkle in the water. It's not a rough river, it's quite steady. And so yeah, I'm just going to add some different colours. I do apologise, I didn't switch on my mic and I still haven't. So let me just pop that on. Oh, and my okay, so I had a little problem then. I didn't have my mic turned on, which is nothing unusual here on my channel. But just adding a few little different colour, and this again is from my palette, just a bit of mud, just a bit of a blue mix, just to give that nice little colour in the river. And I don't know how dark I want to go with this. Suppose I'm going to go a little bit dark around the sides, around the edges. So I'm going to just pop that in. Don't know whether I'm happy with that, but yeah, just got to darken some of the banking after the bridge, just so that I've got a bit of separation from the water and the land. So I'll just add that in now. And it is quite subtle, it is quite a soft dark. But yeah, I think just add a few little darker bits to the edges of the river, and that'll be it. So these could be little rocks in the shallow sides of the river, just little details. And I think I need to just add a little bit of growth just on the banking, just some reeds and whatever it is. Maybe some here. So quite a subtle painting. I'm going to keep it quite simple for you. Nothing too detailed, just obviously the focal point of the bridge. But yeah, I do like this sort of, and it adds to it even if you don't draw around the colours. So you just draw in loosely some shapes and just let that colour sort of, the watercolour paint, so yeah, let me gonna gently take the tape off. I think I'm done. So quite a nice little painting piece there. Oh, nearly very close to ripping the paper then. And I think I can go in and add maybe a couple of birds. Do like to do that in my paintings. Maybe another one. And there we go. I hope you like this one. Please do give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Do you like this effect of the sort of vignette? Don't fill up the paper, just have the edges sort of disappear, and then it just gives all the details within the painting itself. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And that's it for this week. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.